Well, hello, it's Irish night tonight. I've got here is a bowl of meat and potatoes Irish stew with some leeks in it too. Really delicious. This, a wee bit of Guinness. Oh, that's life. Quite easy to make, actually. A little bit of browning of the meat, and then simmer it, and you've got this hearty, thick stew. Look at that big chunk of meat in there. So let's go to the kitchen and make some right now. All right, here we've got all the ingredients we need for our meat and potatoes Irish stew. First of all, we have the meat. Now, in a traditional Irish stew, it would be lamb meat or beef. However, I like the flavor of pork, so this is 1.5 pounds or 680 grams of pork cut into bite-sized pieces. The potatoes, we have about 2 pounds or 900 grams of potatoes, again, cut into bite-sized pieces. Now, potatoes are never that exact, so a little bit over, a little under a pound, that's all right. For the soup itself, we have over here one 15-ounce can of chicken stock. We have 1 bottle of Guinness extra stout, or you can just use a regular stout or the draft, any one of the Guinness. Just a good dark brown beer is what you want in there. And I have here 1 of the 6-ounce cans of tomato paste, 3 leeks cut into about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeter long pieces, a 1/4 cup of oil for cooking, a 1/4 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of pepper, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and 3 cloves of garlic sliced. Not super thin sliced, just regular sliced. So, first thing we're going to do is going to get a bigger bowl. I'm just going to put the meat aside for a second. We're going to throw the flour in here. We're going to throw in the salt and pepper. Just give that a little mix around to get it somewhat combined together. Doesn't have to be too exact. And then in goes the meat. And while I'm stirring that meat, let's get that oil heated up. So I'm going to throw the oil into our big pot here. I'm going to bring that up to medium heat. And while that's heating up, I'm going to just toss the meat to dredge it in the flour. Flour, salt, pepper mixture. I want to coat all the meat, so just kind of toss it around until everything's basically coated with this mixture. Don't worry if it's not all perfectly coated. It's going to be a stew after all. This is just going to help afterwards. What happens is this gets heated up a bit in the oil, we cook the flour off a bit, we brown the meat, and then that flour later on is going to help thicken up our stew. Gives a nice thick stew. Oh, that looks pretty good. Check on that oil. Yeah, that's heating up nicely. In goes the meat. Meat, flour, everything just goes in there. All right, now for 10 minutes, going to mix this around, brown the meat for about 10 minutes, to stir it every once in a while, and then we'll come back and add the rest of the ingredients. That's been cooking for 10 minutes. Look at that. Beautifully browned. Now, if anyone's out there thinking, now Kevin, why you be using pork in an Irish stew? Well, you smell this, you'll know why. It smells great. All right, what we're gonna do now is the Guinness. Now this is a 330 milliliter bottle of Guinness, or that's about 11.2 ounces, fluid ounces. So we're gonna pour that in. Oh, look at that beautiful Guinness beer. And once we've got that in there, what we're gonna do is just deglaze the bottom. So kind of go around, and all those little brown spots that are on the bottom of the pan, we just kind of scrape them off with the beer. Oh yeah, that's looking good. And you can already see that's getting into the into the beer, and then the beer is already changing color from all the meat juices and the flour. All right, so now in goes the soup stock. In goes the tomato paste. Now, I think the tomato paste is a little bit of a personal choice. You might want to use the whole can. You might think, oh, I don't want that much tomato flavor, and use less. That's okay. Use half a can. It's up to you. All right, and all I'm going to do is just kind of stir that around so it dissolves into the rest of the, right now, soup about to become stew. Okay, so it kind of dissolved in there. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna, as it simmers, it will distribute. Now, in go the leeks. In go the potatoes. And the garlic. And as you can see, right now, that is chock-a-block full. And that's perfect. I just kind of push down, get some of the garlic down inside there. All right, and that is it. That's all you have to really do. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to leave that on medium heat for a little while to bring it up to a simmer, and then I'll turn it down and just kind of adjust it to keep it at a nice simmer. I'm going to cover it, gently simmer that for 1.5 hours, and then we're going to have a delicious meat and potatoes Irish stew. All right, that's been cooking for a little bit less than 1.5 hours because I have a bit of a hot stove. It always cooks hotter than, you can see it's simmering pretty heavily. But look at this, it's all thick. What I've done is every once in a while, I'll just come here and give it a little stir. I want to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. So kind of stir it around a bit, but look at that, it's nice and thickened, delicious. Everything's tender now. So let's turn that heat off and let's serve some up. All right, look at that big, hearty, thick meat and potatoes Irish stew. Yum. All right. Well, that will warm the cockles of your heart. I know, sorry. My apologies for really bad Irish accents. All right, there we go. So enjoy meat and potatoes Irish stew. Now, if you go to the link appearing on the screen, you can get the free printable recipe for meat and potatoes Irish stew on our website. So go print out the recipe, have fun making and eating this hearty stew, and make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.